Hello and welcome back to the Kerbal Space Centre, where the birds are twittering and the Kerbal Colonisation project has now reached its second episode. So yes, we're actually legitimately a series now. How wonderful. Today, the plan is to go and say hello to some contracts. Let's see what we've actually got done. Last time we managed to gather scientific data and we actually launched our first vessel, so we are well on our way to heading out into space eventually. Yeah, eventually. We have a couple of contracts active, both of which are testing contracts, but they'll get us a little bit of stuff and get us on our way. So we've got two things to do. We've got to test the RT1 Astro solid fuel booster at the launch site. That's not going to be hard. The other one might be a little bit more of a challenge, because we've got to test the Mark 16 parachute in flight over Kerbal, which has rather specific requirements. So let's jump into the VAB and see what we can build to see if we can get these contracts fulfilled. So our contracts, we have a solid fuel booster to test, which is not going to be difficult, so we'll do that first. We of course need our probe, our standard Probodobodine Stay Putnik that we've been using anyway, and make sure that it can actually communicate. This isn't going anywhere. That's the thing we've got to actually test. Yes, the Astro solid fuel booster. Yes, so that's what we're actually testing. We do have a bit more science, I think, now as well. Yes, we have the Presmat barometer, which has never been tested on the launch pad. So we'll take that, and we might as well get hold of the mystery goo containment unit as well, so we can make sure that that is tested. That will give us a little bit more science, at least from the launch pad. Now we don't want this going anywhere, so we'll just take all the fuel out of it, because all we've got to do is put it on the launch site and activate. Yes, that's all we have to do. Activate the part through the staging sequence when all test conditions are met. That makes it nice and straightforward. Let's see what happens when we stick it on the launch pad. So our nice basic launch pad, here is our rocket that is incredibly basic. Let's get our contract parameters up so we can see what's happening. So yeah, that's everything sorted. All we need to do is test that, so we'll just hit the spacebar and activate it. One completed contract. While we're here, we'll make sure we grab the atmospheric pressure scan. Collected and recorded atmospheric pressure data from the surroundings. Nice and straightforward. We'll keep that. We can also do the mystery goo observation. Doesn't seem to be doing much right now. But it's a significant amount of science for so early in our space program, so we'll take that as well. And we'll recover this vessel and then see about working out how we're going to test this parachute. So just doing that actually got us quite a bit of science. 7.5 science earned from that. We've now got a total of 19. That actually should be enough for yet another node in the research and development building, so we'll hang on to that science and bank it for a moment. We're now at 92,000 funds as well, because we got 2,000 funds back from that little excursion to the launch pad. So let's see what happens when we try and do this other contract. Okay, so this one is going to be a little bit more of a challenge. I think probably the best thing to do is just scrap that completely and start again, because this has actually got to be flying, and that solid fuel booster is not going to be very helpful in terms of control. So let's take the Probodobodine QBE, which is a square one, and make sure that we can actually get something a little bit more controllable on it. We have now fuel tanks, so we can actually use liquid fuel. Let's go with the FLT100 for the moment. Stick that on there. And what have we actually got in the way of engines? Well, we've got to buy it, but we have the cogswell, which is absolutely ridiculous. But we can give it a try. I'm not expecting this to go brilliantly. We'll stick the antenna on it, just so we can communicate, and of course we need the parachute to test. We'll also make sure that our staging is set so things work. I'm not expecting this to work. Let's just get that out of compact and see what we've got, if anything. Any problem with that? Doesn't look like it. Thrust to weight ratio of 2.69, so we should be able to move. Let's stick it on the launch pad and see what happens. So the reason I've gone with the square probe core for this particular launch is it actually has SAS control, so we can make sure that we've got that turned on. You never know, it might help. I'm not necessarily expecting this to be perfect. How high have we got to get? 3 to 6 kilometers up, and we've got to be going 130 to 220 meters per second. Okay. So all we've got to do is activate it through the staging sequence when we get to the right place. Let's see how well this goes. 3, 2, 1. Well, we're going up perfectly straight, which is a start, I suppose. See if we can slow down a little bit, just so we don't get quite so fast. We've got to be at the right speed when we're at the right height, which might be a bit more challenge. Oh, and there we go, over we go. We're not going fast enough now. Like, nowhere near fast enough. We're still going up. Yes, we are still going up, but we can't. We now can't get to the right speed. And we're coming back down again. So that, I think we can say safely, is not particularly a success. Might need to refine this just a little bit. Never mind. We'll have an explosion. And of course, that's all you're here for, isn't it? We're now too low, so even if we got to the right speed, which we're not going to do. Let's just have a look. No, we've got plenty of electric charge still, so it's not that. It is actually not able to keep it going. Never mind. Bang goes the satellite. Or splash goes the rocket, whichever you prefer. Let's do a redesign and try that again. So that tells us that this doesn't work. Let's just go the Kerbal way and just add more stuff, shall we? You never know. How about that? That's far too many antennas though. I'm also watching the money. We've actually gone up a little bit, which is good. You never know, that might be a bit more stable. Possibly. Let's, while we're at it, let's add the science experiments as well. We don't want quite that many. How much has that got in the way of mass, if anything? 0.005 tons. So it does have a slight, very slight effect. Let's put 2 of them on, just to make sure that everything is balanced. Whether we can cope with mystery goo as well. Let's see. If anything else, we'll get a little bit of science from it. Staging is correct. Everything's working by the looks of things. Let's have another try. Okay, so with this creation on the launch pad, let's make sure we've got our science alert window open. And let's have another try. Let's make sure we've got our stuff so we can see when everything's ready. SAS on. And we rise. Let's keep it a little bit steadier as well, shall we? See if that makes any difference. Apoapsis now at 1 kilometre. Oh, we're already turning. We're already shifting. Oh. Yeah, we're already moving. And no, there's nothing I can do to stop it. Okay, well. Well. Let's just deploy all of that and take it all, because that'll mean we actually get things. You never know, this might survive. We hope. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. So something is pulling it over to that side. Come down to reasonable speed. 10 meters per second. That should be okay. The science should survive. We hope. And actually we might be able to get some more, because this is the shores rather than the launch pad. Let's actually log that. Flying at Kerbal. Let's take that. Wow. Wow. Well, we've got some of it. Let's observe the mystery goo. If it'll let me. No, because the antenna have died. Oh dear. Oh well. Never mind. Let's recover that and see what we managed to get. Well, that's another 18.3 science. We've now got 40 science, which is amazing. But we haven't yet managed to test that part. So I'll do a bit of redesign, and I'll see you on the launch pad with our third variant. So for this version, I've essentially just taken all the science off. Anything that's likely to pull it in a different direction, we don't really want. So let's put the throttle to maximum this time, SAS on, and let's see what we get this time. It's already shifting. It's moving far too quickly. Oh, we are pulling back a little bit there. No. If we can keep going up more than sideways, we should be doing quite well, but we've got absolutely no control over this. We might actually need to give it RCS. We're actually doing fast enough now, but we're now falling again. Didn't make the required height. Need to rethink this drastically, I think. But never mind. We'll get another explosion. This time we're actually going to hit the water rather than the shores, so we're getting further away every time. We're just not managing to fulfill our requirements, which is not ideal. One destroyed rocket. Oh well. Let's try again. If your rocket insists on going off course despite your best efforts, add some fins. Let's see. And don't cut the throttle too early. Nope. Is this an option? Is this actually an option? I think the answer to that question might actually be no, but we'll give it a try. We have a spinning rocket, which is practically hovering. This wasn't what I was intending. But if anyone needs a rocket for their ballet, I am available at very reasonable prices. We are actually going up. This is ridiculous. Well, don't knock it if it works. We're not going to get to the speed. We might get to the height, but I doubt we're going to get the speed. We're now no longer pointing up at any particular point, which isn't good. Well, actually, there we were. We've met 3 of our 4 conditions. Are we going to get to the right speed? Can we just get to the speed well by doing this? No, we can't, because we're now actually out of fuel. Well, that was interesting. We'll launch the parachute, see if we can save some money. At the very least, that would be helpful. That's just not what I expected it to have to do at all. Never mind. Never mind. We will get there. We will get there. Maybe we need something with a little more... Well, how do we put this? Traditional shape to it. You never know. Let's just time accelerate down to the ground. And actually we'll put the altitude meter at surface mode rather than sea level. Well, that's the best landing we've had. Shame we didn't get high enough, or indeed fast enough. Rethink. Again. So, radical redesign number 3004, or at least that's what it feels like. Let's make sure we've got our contract window open. As you can see, this one looks more like a traditional rocket. You never know. SAS on, and it's only rocket science. What could possibly go wrong? We are tipping. We are tipping, but we're still more or less going up. Slow down. Let's make sure we stay within speed if we can. There we go. That's everything. Activate parachute. We suddenly have a completed contract. Who knew? Rockets that are rocket shape work. Over we go. And we start to fall again with the parachute trailing behind us. Hopefully this will save at least some of this. We may not have needed quite so many fuel tanks, which I did buy. by the way. So we now have access to the Oscar B fuel tank. Everything's working, which is brilliant. How fast are we going to hit the ground? Are we going to lose all of this rocket? Well, there goes the parachute. No, looks like this might actually survive, which will be lovely. Down we come, gently floating down off to the side of the Kerbal Space Center. So that's all those contracts now completed. We've completed the solid fuel booster test, which was nice and straightforward. We've also broken some world first milestones as well. We've got an altitude record of 2,000, land distance record of 3,000 meters, and we've splashed into the ocean. Each of which slowly adds stuff, which is what we want to happen. And we've now got a new strategy available. Ooh. And we've managed to complete that contract. Wonderful. Right, let's recover this vessel, and we'll see what else we need to be doing. Okay, so you join me for a brief detour into administration, where we find we've got an enormous number of strategies that we can use, courtesy of the Strategia mod, which overhauls this system entirely. As you can see, it's rather extensive. We probably need to try and be getting science if we can. What is this local science one that we can now do? There are so many research opportunities right in our backyard. We should focus on local research to bootstrap our space program. That way, when we do make it further out there, we'll be sending the best technology we can. So that's a 20% bonus to KSC science. Costs 5k to set up, but that might be worth doing, especially as we start to get more and varied experiments we can run. We of course have now the mystery goo, and indeed the press map barometer. Did we do the press map barometer before? I forget. So that's a possibility. We can also do free ice cream, of all things. What does this give? It gives reputation. Okay, reputation is probably not something we absolutely need, but we've come up with a crazy idea. Giving out free ice cream at the Space Center. The public will absolutely love us. If we push the program far enough, we'll get better rewards for rescuing Kerbals. They'll get ice cream when they land. That might be worth thinking about. And maybe even be able to get a discount on hiring new astronauts. Free ice cream. Okay, that's 35,000 to set up. We can only have one at the moment without upgrading the administration building, but local science might be worth doing, because we could take extra experiments around. It doesn't cost anything once you set it up, and it's only 5,000, so yes, we'll accept that strategy. Yes, we do. So that will now basically give us a bonus to every experiment we run at the KSC, which should really boost our science gathering abilities once we've got more experiments, of course. But let's go over to the mission control and see what else we can get involved with. So mission control, Gene Kerman is sitting there with plenty of things for us to do, most of which we can't yet do, but let's have a look. We can haul the radial chute into flight above Kerbin. How high has that got to go? 9 to 12,000. That's considerably higher than the last thing. That gives us 2 extra science and 19,000. That might be worth having a go at. And yeah, it's just test apart, but nice and straightforward. And we've also started to get now all the survey contracts coming up, which will mean we need a plane. Yeah, how many of these are actually above a certain height? Because above a certain height is a bit more tricky. The below ones are going to be okay. We might have to have a look at the tracking station, see how far away they are. But we could build a plane. Let's no, that one. Haul the radial chute, radial chute. That's what we want to do. Let's give that a try, and I'll see you in the VAB to build a machine that hopefully will be able to do this. So for testing the Mark 16 parachute, this rocket worked quite well in the end, but we're going to need to actually purchase the part, because otherwise we can't launch it again. So we'll purchase it, which actually is completely free, which is extremely helpful. Here is our test part. Let's make sure we know what we're supposed to be doing. So yes, it's just have the radial chute. That's what we need. So let's give this some of these. We'll have 4 of the things because that will make sure that the rocket stays balanced. Yes, we'll leave both the parachutes in the same stage, I think, and we'll see how we get on. You never know. This might just be nice and easy. Now we've done it once with a single parachute. Adding a few more, you never know, might be fairly straightforward. See you on the launch pad. Okay, so we're all ready to go. Let's just give this a try. SAS on and fire. So we've got to get to at least 9 kilometers. Oh, and we're spinning already. That's not good. That's very not good. Explosion. Explosion. Something survived. Something survived. We've managed to rescue a couple of wow. Okay. 2 fuel tanks and 3 antennae. Well, better than nothing. Let's redesign that and try again. Now, before you all start commenting, I know putting a radial parachute on top of a rocket is not exactly cricket, but needs must. Let's give this another try. Let's try from full throttle. You never know. That might make a difference. Then again, that's not going to get to 9 kilometers. Might get to the speed. It has got to the speed, but it's not going to get to 9 kilometers. We're bleeding funds here. Thankfully, these rockets are not that expensive, but we are losing money. Faster than I would like. Never mind. Let's rethink again. The game is Kerbal Space Program. If in doubt, add more boosters. Let's see. I don't hold out a great deal of hope for this, but we'll give it a try. Before we do anything though, we absolutely need to make sure that our staging is correct. We need the parachute on its own, and actually we need the solid boosters first. Right, with that set, let's try. The problem here is going to be the speed. Well, this is going a bit better. We're now at the right speed, and it's dropping. Are we going to reach the right height? We can't go lower than 140. Let's see, are we going to hit? We are. There we go. Cut the engines. Activate the parachute. And now we wait to float back down. Well, that was quite successful in the end, wasn't it? Wasn't expecting it to be. We have just gone straight up. The danger now is that we come down on top of something in the space center and blow up one of the fucking buildings. Yeah. Hopefully this parachute will be powerfully enough. Because I really don't want to have to spend money on rebuilding the Space Center this early in our space program. With any luck, where is our impact marker? Our impact marker is way off here. We're going to be fine. The Space Center survives today. Yes, the buildings are destructible. Beginning to wish I'd turned that off now. Never mind. We'll see. We're coming in. We're 4 kilometers up, just over. Let's have a screenshot. Down we come. Down we come. Just waiting for the parachute to open. There we go. Over we flip. Oh yes, fine. 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 We'll come down very, very gently. And over there is something we ought to go and investigate at some point. Something for a future episode, maybe. So let's just time accelerate until we're down on the ground. Or nearly on the ground. There we go. One survived rocket. Wow. Yeah. That makes a change, doesn't it? So that's completed that contract. Let's just have a quick look at our messages. We've got another couple of world firsts. Speed record of 250 meters per second and an altitude record of 7,000 meters. That's 7 kilometers, which both gives us money. Money is helpful. Money is good. Money is very good. We are now at 152,500 funds and 48 science. Let's recover this vessel and go and see what we can spend that science on. Okay, so here is our mission summary for the untitled spacecraft. It was wonderfully successful. We now have 48 science. We got no science for that, but we got nearly 2,000 funds back from it. We'll recover that debris just to make sure we get everything back. 154,764, very nice. Let's have another look at mission control, see what we've got to pick up in terms of contracts. So what has Gene Kerman got for us now? Something in flight. We can do those again. There's more parachutes to do. Solid fuel booster orbiting Kerbin. Well, to do that we've actually got to orbit Kerbin, haven't we? The Ant engine splashed down, which shouldn't be too much of a problem. But the major thing is actually all of these focused surveys, which might be worth having a look at. Let's just jump into the research and development building. Oh no, I've just deleted one, haven't I? Never mind. Let's just have a look in here, see what we can spend our 48 science on, and if we're going to be doing those, we probably are going to want wing parts and aviation things and all the lot. Or, actually, the most important thing is probably just to get more science experiments. Yes, that's probably a better idea. We have wings. We have basic wings that we might be able to get a basic plane out of to go and do some of those survey contracts. It's actually, early aviation doesn't give you a great deal, apart from helicopter blades. Do we really want to be building a helicopter to go and do things? Well, actually, yes, possibly. That might be rather different, mightn't it? Or we have general rocketry, which will give us extra rockets and things. But actually, I think science experiments, now we have that strategy running, extra science experiments are probably a good thing. So we'll go with that. 45 science for that. We have 48, so let's take that. That will give us more experiments that we can run around the KSC, and with that strategy running, we'll get even more science for them. So that might be worth doing, and then we can go and have a look at the observational and the focused survey contracts. Let's just jump into the tracking station and see how far away some of those are. So welcome everybody to the tracking station for the first time in this series. Gene Kerman has a load of information for us, so we got that. Let's just have a look at Kerbin and see where these are. The Kerbal Space Center is there, and actually those four are not that far away. Below, above, the above ones are going to be a bit tricky, but those two are both below, so we could have a go at those. That would be quite interesting to give a try to. And actually we've got research bodies in this save, so at the moment we have very little in space. We have the Moon and Minmus in addition to Kerbin, and not much else. The discovery of other bodies will actually give us even more science, but we've got to get there first. But we have a couple of those we could do, but that will have to wait for the next episode. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in episode 3 of the Kerbal Colonisation program.